Not only do we start off the calendar year with back-to-back weekends of UFC, we also start the year with the first two ever events of Zuffa boxing. Zuffa boxing is the newest boxing promotion on the block run by Dana White and TKO Company. What was once the undoing of boxing will now be the glue that brings boxing back together. Money. Money tore boxing apart slowly over time, and now Dana White and TKO Company will have endless pockets to put boxing back together. And that's exactly what Zuffa Boxing looks to do starting in 2026. This is the Lights Out podcast, the inaugural episode following Zuffa Boxing and UFC. We have quite a bit to talk about, and we have Ant, the co-host of the Lights Out podcast here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Ant. I'm your co-host for the podcast. We're gonna talk about Zuffa boxing. We're gonna talk about UFC. Got a lot to unpack here, so let's go.
Very excited I am. I don't know why I'm talking like Yoda. Very excited I am to cover Zuffa Boxing. Here we are, the first official episode of the Lights Out podcast, and we are getting into it with the inaugural Zuffa Boxing event, Zuffa Boxing 1. Now, these are humble beginnings for Zuffa Boxing. We have 3 fights on the main card and no championships involved. We know that Dana White has confirmed that there will be a Zuffa belt. There will be a world championship for each weight class in Zuffa boxing, but we have yet to see that. Looks like they're taking their time and they're putting good fights together. Let's go ahead and look at these fights and keep it real about how Zuffa boxing went for its inaugural event. The first main card fight of Zuffa Boxing 1 and Zuffa Boxing in general was a welterweight matchup between Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval. Tell me your thoughts on this fight, Ant.
It was a really good fight for what it was. I mean, it was very controlled by Rodriguez from start to finish. The pacing, his output was really good. He was clearly winning all the rounds on the cards. Sandoval did have some moments, but nothing consistent enough to take like any rounds. I thought the one thing I did like was Rodriguez's consistency and his ring IQ. He wasn't flashy at all, but what he did exactly what was needed to win the rounds, which I really liked. So
And
yeah.
and if you were excited for Zuffa boxing and you watched the press conference, then you know that this was a highly anticipated matchup here. Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval chirping at the press conference, making the fans interested in their upcoming fight. All right, this fight ultimately did indeed end by decision after going the distance, as Julian Rodriguez was able to defeat Ken Sandoval by decision. What was even more fantastic was the interview that took place after this fight. Julian Rodriguez gave Kane Sandoval his props. Apparently, these guys garnered a deep respect for each other, not just in the fight against each other, but also learning more about what each other are currently going through. Okay, looks like Kane Sandoval has a daughter who is in need of medical attention due to a severe sickness, which Julian Rodriguez went ahead and gave a shout out to while also praising Kane Sandoval and his work. Just really excellent character seen by Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval by default. Feel like these guys put on a fantastic fight. Yes, you can say Julian Rodriguez handled his business in there, but Kane Sandoval stuck in there, man. This fight went the distance, and honestly, this was the closest fight of the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's like no doubt in my mind that this fight was really close for what it was, and and I think my biggest takeaway was that I mean, dude, Rodriguez is a very smart boxer, and he's got a good fundamental base, and I think he's definitely going to be one of those guys that is on Zuffa's radar um, within the coming months. I think he could be champion, man. I mean, I think he's definitely going to be one of those guys to watch. And Sandoval, I'll give him props, man. He hung in there. It was a for 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 as dominant as this fight was, it was a good showing for both of them, man. And I think these guys will both be these guys will both be like future greats that we'll be talking about in a few years' time. I think. I mean, I know it's a very bold prediction right now, but I think give it some time. I think we'll see what happens.
I absolutely agree here, man. I truly think that every fighter on this main card has an excellent opportunity to shine and lead their respective divisions. In this case, from a main card standpoint, this was the first and only main card welterweight fight that we have seen. So we can expect Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval to be mainstays in the welterweight division of Zuffa boxing. And I absolutely feel like with all three fights on the main card of Zuffa 1, we will look back at them as history. Oh, this is the first time Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval squared off. This is the first time Misael Rodriguez and Austin Deanda faced off, perfectly taking us into our next fight of the night, our second of three fights on the main card, as Misael Rodriguez defeats Austin Deanda by TKO in this middleweight bout. The middleweight division seems to be what Zuffa is building early and often here, and we'll kind of get into that premise a little more as the episode goes on. But I'm curious to hear, Ant, how did you feel about Rodriguez getting the win here by TKO? What were your thoughts?
Very impressive. Very, very impressive. I love this fight. I expected Misa to honestly outdo Austin, and that's pretty much what we got. I mean, from the first round to the way it ended, the fourth round TKO. I like the that he sustained like the body attacks, and he worked like heavily on that, and his clean headshots, those were really nice. And that's I think that's what honestly got him the win. I think that's what helped him out, man. I think and that's what you don't see in like a lot of these, well, I mean, you do see it in some of these fighters, but like a lot of these guys, like a lot of these boxers now, like they just go straight for the head. They don't work the body as much. And in all fairness, to Misal, I think he fought a really good fight, and he had a good pressure. He had good pressure, and he had an eye for damage, and he didn't let up. And I think that's what got him momentum, and I think that's what ultimately helped him in this fight.
Yeah, man. Miza looked fantastic, man. He looks like a middleweight mainstay, and I'm sure Austin will be back. Austin is young, he's green, and he's got some more proving to do in the ring, if you will, which is fine. He's a youngin, and he'll definitely be back. But Misao looks like $1 million in there right now. Absolutely a great addition to Zuffa Boxing's middleweight division.
Oh yeah, he definitely could be like. I mean, we already talked about like fighters to watch out for, and I think Misal could definitely be one of those names as well thrown in there because I mean he fought really well, really well, and I think if like I think down the line, dude, like I've said, like we just talked about, like these guys could honestly be champions. Like I could see Misal Rodriguez being a champion down the line, like whether it's WBC, WBO, you name it, man. Like I could see him like being a top contender or champion in the middleweight division, especially with a performance like that.
Dude, I think Zuffa's locking his ass down. I think he's going to fight for the Zuffa middleweight championship. Um, let's go ahead and get into our main event, though, before we get into that, as it heavily pertains. In the most decisive fight of the evening, the main event, Callum Walsh defeated Carlos Ocampo by decision Another middleweight fight here. We get two middleweight fights out of three fights on the main card for Zuffa 1. It looks like we are heading on a collision course, maybe not right away, but eventually, having Mizal Rodriguez take on Callum Walsh for Zuffa's middleweight championship. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something we're going to see?
I think so. I mean, I think that those two styles could collide like really well. And I'm actually doing a little bit of digging here, dude. Like when you look at somebody like Callum Walsh, dude, like he's one of those guys that's definitely like he's a tough he's a tough dude, man. Like one of the toughest guys to come out of Ireland, in my opinion. Like look at who he's beaten guys like hold on, I gotta move my phone real quick. He's beaten guys like Fernando Vargas Jr., Elias Espadas, and now he adds Ocampo to the list. And I think, dude, he's gonna be another guy to look out for sure. And I honestly could see that fight happening. It's collision of styles, and this dominant performance from Callum Walsh just settled. I think settled that we need this fight. We need that fight to happen. Absolutely, I'll agree with you on that.
What a highly anticipated fight this would be, and what a fight it would be to deliver our first ever Zuffa middleweight champion if that's the way we're going. I have no clue as to when Dana White plans to bring out these Zuffa belts, but I'm sure it'll all be in due time, and I'm down to be patient with these three fight cards. You got to think about it this way: you put three fights together, three well optimized fights in terms of matchup, and at least one of them is going to be good. It's a good way to spend your Friday or Sunday night. You know, do I think Zuffa 1 was perfect? No, it was nice to see Callum Walsh because he's such a spectacle, even though the fight wasn't even anywhere close. And Mizal handled business, it was fine. But truly, I think the fight of the night for Zuffa 1 was Julian Rodriguez versus Kane Sandoval. And even that one, people could say, was mid. Here's the vision, guys. Here's what's going on. These are humble beginnings for Zuffa boxing. We don't exactly know what we're looking at yet when we watch Zuffa, but I guarantee you in a few years' time, this is going to go down as history. These fights are going to be remembered. We're going to remember the first matchups for Julian and Kane for sure in the welterweight division. But Mizial and Austin Deanda, that could be a trilogy fight over the next 7 years, watching Deanda improve slowly over time. Dude, I'm speculating wildly. I'm very excited for Zuffa boxing. I want this thing to succeed. I want boxing to have an undisputed promoter. I want boxing to have an undisputed show. And Zuffa has every reason to be that with the backing of TKO, Dana White, and of course, most importantly, the deepest pockets in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're signing. I mean, you're getting guys like. I mean, granted, that Canelo fight was in collaboration with like the other promotions. But I mean, if you can get like certain guys to your brands, or you can get like the top guys that are like Top Rank, who's another one that I said, Eddie Hearn's promotion, Queensberry Promotions. If you can get like those type of fighters, dude, Zuffa's gonna take over, dude. I think it will happen because I mean, there's so many talented fighters across all the different promotions, and if Zuffa can lock them down, dude, I think it's gonna be a huge wake up call, dude. Like for a lot of these promotions, like a lot of these promotions, we like you said, we do need a top dog in boxing, bro. Because I mean, and we've talked about this before. Like boxing is very corrupt, and it's a very like corrupt sport, basically. Like yeah, I mean, I think if we can get a top dog, and if Zuffa can like give us the fights that we want, dude, I think they're gonna be here for a long time.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be slowly but surely. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, right? I think they're going to be on the ground for a little while. I love the three fight formula. You don't need to worry about selling the pay per view because you could watch it on Paramount Plus. So you have three fights. It's a 2.5 to 3 hour show. Easy to book, easy to digest for casual and diehard boxing fans alike, and just fantastic. I'm very impressed by these humble beginnings for Zuffa boxing. I understand it may not be the spectacle that we want it to be yet, but goodness gracious, again, I just think with the genius put on display by Dana White in terms of strategically putting fights together and the quantity of fights that make up a main card and keeping the attention of even the most casual boxing fans very easily will
Yeah.
slowly but surely build this thing. And I'm excited, man. But we
Okay.
have to pivot. We got to talk UFC. Is there anything else you want to say about Zuffa 1 before we continue?
Just like going back to the 3 card thing. Like, I mean, I'm looking at like the zones like next pay per view. Like, there's like what one, two. I'm trying to find out how many fights are like when you look at like the zone paper, like the main card. There's like 4 or 5 fights, man. That's a lot of boxing, man. Like, and then you got the undercard and all that. Like, I like the 3 card formula that they're going with, and I hope they keep that going because that's like what maybe one, like 2, 3 hours, like you said. Like, that's a good time. Like, and like you don't have to be like the main event won't be till like 12 o'clock. Like, you're up till like 12 o'clock in the morning trying to watch this main event. Like, I like the 3 card formula they're going with, dude. Like, I really do.
Dude, yeah, it's excellent. It's perfect. Yeah, and that's just why it's built to succeed because it's not a heavy buy-in. You don't have to buy the pay-per-view every month. $7.99 for Paramount Plus. Don't get me wrong, the ads are annoying, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'll freaking take it.
Yep.
3 fights on the main card, you're out of there in 3 hours by 10, 11, maybe midnight if it goes extra, depending on where you're at in the country.
Yep.
We could sing the praises of what we've seen so far all day, and I understand the concern of, well, nobody got their ass knocked out, and I know that's what we watch boxing for, right? This is the
Yeah.
Lights Out podcast. We're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get to our beautifully hand woven super cards in Zuffa boxing, but it's not going to be the first fight. And for the first fight, I think we saw a lot of promise. We'll leave it there because I can talk about this all day.
All
Let's
right.
pivot. UFC 324. Okay. If Zuffa boxing was a mediocre beginning to 2026, right? Zuffa boxing won. And, I just know a lot of people are saying that right now. Oh, that was boring, whatever. Yeah, fine. Okay. Humble beginnings for Zuffa boxing. Not a humble beginning for UFC 324. Not a humble beginning for UFC in 2026. My goodness. In the first pay per view of 2026, which is UFC number 324, we saw some good freaking fighting. And it's nice to have these events go back to back, right? Zuffa Boxing was this past Friday night, and now UFC 324 is this past Saturday night, the very next night. I truly think after what I consider a disappointing 2025 for UFC, the fact that Dana White has surrendered control of UFC to focus more on Zuffa boxing, it's apparent that that's the case. And in doing so, in the art of letting go, UFC naturally returns to prominence rather quickly, right? These fights were fantastic. Was it a perfect card? Absolutely not. Was it entertaining as all hell? Yes. So let's get into this shit, shall we? Before we get into the fights, is there anything you want to say?
I guess like, hmm. I mean, like you said, like it was a very like. I feel like this 2025 was a hit or miss year for the UFC, man. Because there was some. We can't just pretend it was all bad. I mean, there were some good fights here and there, but the problem it was, and we said it a few months ago. We said it was here and there. Like, they weren't giving us the fights that we wanted. Some of the fights were boring. I mean, Tom Aspinall lost. I mean, Tom Aspinall got eye poked. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Like, it was a weird year for the UFC, man. But I like that this was a really a clean slate for the UFC. And now that we're on Paramount, no more pay per views, man. Thank God. I don't have to spend $60 on almost $90 on pay per views, dude. And $7.99, dude. That's a fucking steal. Like, and I like this. Like you said, like there were some fights that were okay. I mean, on this card wasn't perfection. We're not gonna just say it was, but it was a good start for the UFC, I think. But yeah.
I would say that it was a pay-per-view level night. It was a pay-per-view level show.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. I was trying to. That's what I was trying to say the whole time.
I got you, man. Yeah, it was a pay-per-view level show. Something I feel like we were robbed of a lot in 2025, not from the build up to the fights, but as much as I love Chimaev, the fight against DDP for Chimaev was absolutely boring. Okay, when you're paying your hard-earned money per view, per fight, per numbered show, you want some semblance of spectacle. You want to ride home with something. And there was just a lot of shows I felt like where things did happen in terms of Chimaev winning the belt in 2025, as an example.
Yeah.
But there was nothing to ride home about. There was no, oh, that fight was awesome. And now that the pay per view model is gone, I feel like the pressure comes off of the promoters, the fighters, and overall the UFC to the point where they can put together the best card that they can, surrender control instead of trying to force everything, and just let shit play out. And guess what? If it was a boring card, it was $8.
Yeah.
And it pays for more than just UFC. You got a subscription to Paramount Plus there, and you probably got a Zuffa show that same month.
Yeah, and going back to the boring cards, I mean the example I use, I mean besides DDP and Chimaev, Islam and Madalena. That fight, for as much hype as we all bought into the hype, man. Basically, we all bought into the hype, basically just for Islam to wrestle for all 5 rounds, and JDM had no answer, which was a shame, man. Because I mean that Madison Square Garden card was actually not that bad. It's just the main event is what kind of killed it. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I like. Plus, I mean, it's Paramount Plus. You get up, like you said, Zuffa show and a UFC show. So the UFC show could suck, but if the Zuffa card is good, hey man, I think it might be worth it.
Just, and I don't mean to meat ride Dana White here, okay? I really don't, because I'm not. That's not my thing.
No,
But I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. You look at the UFC mid 2025. This shit looked like a sinking ship. I don't want to say sinking ship. Maybe that's too dramatic. It looked, excuse me, like they needed something. And now this current setup with Paramount Plus, the addition of Zuffa Boxing, the focus on Zuffa Boxing from Dana White to the point where it feels like UFC is a little more free flow and less forced from a promotion standpoint. I think this is the correct answer to what I was feeling UFC needed. And, combat sports has simply evolved in the process very quickly now with the addition of Zuffa Boxing. Let's get into this card, man. This was solid. Let's start with the first fight, okay? This is a featherweight bout. We had the number 10 featherweight Gene Silva taking on the number 6 featherweight Arnold Allen. And, this fight did its thing. It went the distance. It was fairly close. It wasn't a complete blowout by Silva, but it was pretty obvious that Arnold Allen had taken the L here. Somebody that I'm a huge fan of, right? He's like the UFC Sheamus, right? He's the guy that's gonna get in a fight at a bar. That's what I always, thought about when I saw Arnold Allen. I happen to love Arnold Allen as a fighter. Just has that spirit, and it's really a shame to see him take an L here. But it was a solid fight, and Gene Silva, one of the fighting nerds, is a beast. So you gotta give it up. You gotta give credit where credit is due. What do you think, man?
like you said, it wasn't a blowout, but I mean, it was a competitive fight for what it was. I mean, I'll say this, like like you said, Arnold Allen's like UFC's version of Sheamus, and he's like he will bring the fight to anybody, and I thought he did okay. I mean, one of the things I wrote on my notes here was I liked Silva's ability to mix up levels and stay busy. I mean, he made his shots count, and he showed really good fight IQ, and the pacing from both guys was really good. And my only real thing with Allen was, I mean, I felt like he didn't like he lacked finishing urgency. Like he had he had a couple chances there, I think, but he just didn't capitalize, I think. And he looked a little hesitant, but and I'll go back to Jan Silva. He didn't show much dynamicism. beyond straight power. I think. I mean, his offense was good, but it was almost predictable at times. But this was a good fight for what it was. I mean, I think Soba needed this win, and I think this is a fight that maybe we could run back in a few years time. But I mean, we'll see. I think the Fighting Nerds are a hell of a team. I think they're a really good like little group. I think they could go far. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, this is a good fight overall. A pretty good opener for what it was.
Yeah, I would agree with you that Arnold Allen, well, looked like shit towards the end of the fight. And even letting, Gene Silva jump on his back, whatever that was.
That was so weird, bro. I was literally gonna tell you about that. Like, I wanted to get your opinion on that. That's I've seen it all, dude. Like I've seen a lot in combat sports, but I've never seen anybody jump off somebody's back like that. I was like, what in the world is he doing? It reminded me of that guy. What's his name? That Brazilian. Oh, Michel Pereira. Like he does like all this weird, like all this goofy stuff. Like that's what it reminded me of. It was like what? It was like what the heck?
Yeah, man. It was interesting for sure, but it was just a reflection of the fact that Arnold Allen was a little bit outpaced there. He got a little tired. Maybe Father, I know he's not too old, but he's definitely been around for a minute. Maybe Father Time is doing his thing with Arnold Allen. We see Arnold Allen get a win, take a loss, get a win, take a loss. I would love to see Arnold Allen figure it out. But Gene Silva, he's a badass. Maybe he gets one or two more victories and he finds himself fighting for the featherweight belt. We'll find out. We'll see how this affects his ranking as number 10 has defeated number 6 in the featherweight division here. Gene Silva moves on. Let's go ahead and move on to our next fight, a women's flyweight bout, as number 2 Natalia Silva takes on number 6 Thug Rose Namajunas. What did you think about this fight, man?
I mean, Silva took the former two times champ to the limit, man. With the especially with the pressure, striking, and the consistent output. I mean, Nama Yunus was easily being worn down, and it was clear as hell. Like it was very clear, and I like that uh, Silva controlled the tempo, and I think that's what she needed, and like the use of range and the use of stringing together combos was honestly a beautiful sight, man. It was really good. Like, and honestly, I'll say this about Nama Yunus, man. She did not look like her old self. I think, honestly, I don't want to. This is a very bold prediction, but I don't ever see her winning. Like, I don't ever see her regaining the title anytime soon, especially with like the top women in that division. Like, it was like she did not look Nama Yunus did not look like herself, man. Like we don't when I think of Nama Yunus, I think of like the one who knocked out Jan Jacek. Like that's the Thug Rose I think of, but I don't know what happened to that Thug Rose. Maybe it's time, maybe time's catching up with her. Maybe I don't know, man. Maybe a change in game plan. Who knows, man? But like I feel like ever since she lost the title to what's her name, Esparza? Yeah. Ever since she lost the title to Esparza, she just hasn't been herself, I think.
Yeah, I will say, as someone who's seen Thug Rose fight in person, UFC Denver 2024, it was tough, right? Like, I'm a fan of Thug Rose. I've seen her do some crazy shit, and she takes a loss here. I will say it was a closer loss than expected. A lot of people are acting like this shit was dominating by now Natalia Silva. It was a well evenly matched fight, and there were a lot of people I was watching this fight with that thought that Nama Yunus had taken the victory. Of course, they were surprised to see Natalia Silva's hand raised, who is bound to fight for the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship sooner than later. And yeah, back to the drawing board for Thug Rose. I hope that she's able to have a better showing next time and start to string together more wins potentially. We'll see, man. We'll see. Similar to Arnold Allen, it looks like a fade into obscurity a little bit more, which is very unfortunate.
It really is. It really is.
Let's move on here, man. Let's go ahead and talk about this heavyweight contest between Waldo Cortez Acosta, the number 5 heavyweight in the UFC heavyweight division, defeating number 6 Derek Lewis by TKO. Very huge showing for Waldo Cortez Acosta, who, if doesn't get a championship in his next fight, is bound to get one after his next fight if he wins it. I hope I said that well. Very, tough to watch for us diehard fans of Derek Lewis. Who doesn't love Derek Lewis? Who doesn't love watching him win? That man's a superstar, but it looks like Father Time is a consistent thread in these first 3 fights as it bites Derek Lewis as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the problem is, I kind of like in my head when I saw this fight was announced, I was like, okay, Lewis needs like to get a knockout, like at least in the first or second round. If Cortez can drag him into the deep water, he's not gonna win because I mean we've Derek Lewis. Let's just be honest, bro. He doesn't have good cardio. His cardio is just not good. Like, and it's not that it's just bad, man. It's not a good cardio, and for Cortez, like Acosta, like the striking and the timing was honestly really good, and I like that he spaced it out. I like that he capitalized on openings, and that slip was so weird. I thought he dropped him at first when I first saw the replay, but then I saw Lewis slipped. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what happened. But I like that he didn't he kept the pressure very steady, and he didn't rush into a finish like early. And like I'm gonna go back and repeat my point here. He dragged Lewis into the deep waters, and he made sure to get that win because he know like I think a lot of us know that, like I've said, Lewis doesn't have good cardio, man. He's like one of those guys that's like I guess one hitter quitter is like one of it, like I guess the right way to say it. And I mean for a guy who's 40, man, like it's crazy he can still fight like at that age, man. Especially in the heavyweight division with those type of guys, man. Like he's a really good fighter, man. But I do feel like you said, Father Time is catching up with him, and I think if Acosta doesn't get a title shot in his next fight, then why I mean why not? I think he should be a top guy, the next guy up for either Aspinall or Gane if that fight happens down the line. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think this was a really impressive showing for Acosta, man. This was really good.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I agree. And it's just it's tough because we've seen Derek Lewis do some crazy things. We know he's not by the book by any stretch of the imagination, but he takes the L here. So we'll see how he responds. We'll see what's next for Derek Lewis. And I'm sure great things are ahead for Waldo Cortez Acosta in the heavyweight division. Let's go ahead and get on to our co-main event, okay? A bantamweight bout. The number 3 bantamweight in the world, Sean O'Malley, defeating the number 5 bantamweight in the world, Song Yadong, by decision. Now, this was a pretty even fight, to say the least. All right. I think this was a pretty even fight. To be completely honest, I truly think it could have gone either way, but Sean O'Malley gets the victory here, a much needed victory after 2 losses to Merab Dvalishvili, which totally knocked Sean O'Malley off of his high horse. And now we are in a situation where 2 roads can diverge, right? Do we do O'Malley versus Peter Yan for the bantamweight belt? Do we do O'Malley versus Merab 3? Do we do Merab versus Peter Yan 2? We have 3 options for this bantamweight division here, at least for the championship, or, in the case of Merab versus O'Malley 3, potentially a high caliber bantamweight match. Song Yadong is young. He'll be back. He will absolutely be back. Get 1 or 2 more wins under his belt. Probably have another encounter with O'Malley. Maybe Peter Yan. Merab is floating around in the mix still. This bantamweight division is starting to come together a little bit more with each big bantamweight fight. What do you think about this fight? This was definitely close. Eager to hear your thoughts.
This was such a close fight, like from start to finish. And I personally, I had Yadong winning, but then I went back and rewatched like the fight again. I was like, no, Sean definitely got that third round. Like this was so close, and like you said, it could have gone either way. And the one thing I liked from O'Malley was he used his range a lot, and he used like he and his selection of like of strikes, man. Like his sharp counters and his leaps were very technically were very impressive, honestly. And this was so close, dude. I honestly, when I was watching the fight, I was like, man, this is hard to score. And dude, that knee from O'Malley, the one that knee
Goodness.
he that landed, man. Whoo, man, that was definitely that you could feel that, bro. Like, I mean, we've talked we've talked a lot about how good O'Malley is, man. Like, he's a damn good fighter, and just ask guys like Chito Vera how that knee feels, man. Like, it's a man, that shit looks like it hurts, man. And like you
Dude.
said, with there's three roads they can go here, man. They can go with Jan and O'Malley again. They can do Marab and Jan, or they could do who was the other one you said? Oh shit,
Marab O'Malley, right?
yeah,
Peter Yan O'Malley or Marab Peter Yan too.
yeah. There you go, Marab and Peter Jan. There you go. Yeah, like there's so many like there's those three options. Like those could really be good fights if they play their cards right. I mean, we'll see how Marab's doing, especially after the loss. I mean, it was a tough fight for him, tough loss for him. But I think for O'Malley, dude, like he could definitely like climb up those ranks again, man. It's clearly he's not done. He's not done yet, dude. He wants that title back. And as for Song Yadong, man, like he'll still be there, man. He's still pretty young. I mean, we'll have to wait and see with him. He could be a champion, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see, man. I mean, but this fight was really close.
Yeah. And in terms of range, not just because we can sing the praises of Sean O'Malley now that he finally fucking won again, like this bantamweight division just has a lot of cool faces, and there's a string of fights that we're gonna see in 2026 from the UFC bantamweight division that are just gonna be top tier. Very exciting here, but nonetheless, guys, let's get into our main event of UFC 324, a lightweight bout for the interim UFC lightweight championship. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, excuse me, Gaethje versus Pimblett. This was everything we thought it was going to be. Looks like Gaethje kind of came out of the gate strong, but Paddy the Baddie had an answer. Paddy the Baddie goes the distance with Gaethje and closes the gap that he finds himself in early in the fight. This is fun. This was a fun freaking fight. Of course, Justin Gaethje getting the win and becoming the new interim UFC lightweight champion, setting himself up for a potential fight with Ilya Tuporia. We will see what happens with that shit. But nonetheless, man, very exciting stuff. Tell me what you thought about the main event of UFC 324. I mean, it's January and it could have been fight of the year.
Dude, we're not even like past January. We already might have fight of the year, like you said. Like this is one of those fights where you can show somebody who's not who doesn't watch MMA. Check this fight out. I think you'll like it. Dude, this fight was a fucking war, dude, from start to finish. Like both of these guys like came out swinging. Gaethje, we saw the old Justin Gaethje, we saw the highlight, and Paddy Pimblett, man. I've been very critical of him like for the last couple months, especially with his wins over guys like Ferguson and a few others. But man, I have to give Pimblett props, man. That was one of the best showings I've ever seen from him. He really hung in there with Justin Gaethje. And as for Gaethje, man, like he could I feel like that Topuria fight could happen, dude. I feel like that fight is around the corner, and I think we need to see that fight. Do I think Gaethje gets his hand raised at the end? We'll wait and see, but that was a damn good showing from both of these guys, man. And this was honestly like one of the best fights like I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
we're not even in January. We got fight of the year, man. This was so good, man. Such a fucking good fight, man. Woo!
At a time where Zuffa boxing is coming into the mix, at a time where UFC is ditching the pay-per-view model, at a time where there's a lot of uncertainty as to what UFC is going to be, right? We feel like it's shifting one way, we don't like where it's going, and then we get to the first numbered event on Paramount Plus, and the main event is some Rocky shit. Okay, this was straight up some Rocky shit. Paddy the Baddy falls to Gaethje quite early, right? If I'm not mistaken in memory here, losing the first 2 rounds, capturing the third, looking like he lost the fourth, and just coming out swinging, leaving no regrets, putting it all on the line in the 5th round. Of course, Paddy comes up short for this interim UFC lightweight championship, but man, we need to see the rematch. Okay, we need
Oh,
to see this shit.
dude, absolutely. Hope I didn't cut you off, but like, yeah, I'm just gonna agree with you on that real quick, dude.
You're
That
good.
was, dude, we need to see that fight again, dude. That's another. That's definitely a fight they have to make down the line, and whether and whether and dude, like you said, Rocky shit, dude. Like this was damn. This is just this. I could go on and on about how good this fight was, but I'll let you have the floor, man. I thought this, like I said, man, this was a really good fight for what it was. Like, fuck, man, this is fight of the year, man.
We'll fucking see, man.
Let's
We'll
see,
see.
dude.
Yeah, yeah. And then you just look at this card and you think about the O'Malley match being fun. You think about the main event being amazing. Really, every fight, but am I saying match? I meant fight. Every fight but the heavyweight fight where Derek Lewis didn't really look too good. Even the Thug Rose fight was closer than a lot of us want to admit, right? Maybe the first fight wasn't your cup of tea. Maybe Arnold Allen did look too fucking tired. But at the very most pessimistic, 3 of the 5 fights are pretty damn close, with one of those 3 fights being awesome. Just a fantastic start for UFC on Paramount Plus, man. I think UFC has somehow gained all their momentum back in the matter of one night. They've slowly lost momentum by momentum in 2025, and now here they are in 2026, starting strong as hell. And we don't have to wait very long for our next big event from UFC. 7 days after UFC 324, we have UFC 325 coming at us, okay? With Zuffa Boxing 2 happening the day after on Sunday, February 1st. But before we get to February 1st, let's talk about Saturday, January 31st. UFC 325, back-to-back weekends of UFC numbered events. How spoiled are we? Let's go ahead and run down this card real quick. I want to hear what fights you're most excited for. Okay, opening up UFC 325's main card, we have a lightweight match. Please forgive me with the names. We have Guyan Sakid versus Jamie Malarkey, right? That is the first one. We have a heavyweight bout for the second fight of the main card. Number 12 in the heavyweight division, Tai Tuvasa taking on number 15, Taliesin Texera. Okay. Third fight of this main card, we have a lightweight bout. We have number 9 in the lightweight division, Rafael Fiziev versus number 14, Mauricio Ruffi. Okay. Lightweight division featured again in the co-main event. Number 6 lightweight in the world, Dan Hooker versus number 8 lightweight in the world, Benoit Saint Denis. And then the main event, with the UFC Featherweight Championship on the line, Alexander Volkanovski takes on Diego Lopez for a second time. Volkanovski versus Lopez 2 coming at us at UFC 325. What excites you about this card? What are you looking forward to?
Well, definitely the main event, man. Because this fight was the fight between Volkanovski and Lopez was so good, man. And Lopez is a fucking warrior, dude. Like you could throw everything at him, and he'll still keep going, dude. That's the heart. That's the thing about him is he has the heart of like a Mexican warrior, dude. Even though he's Brazilian, he has the heart of a Mexican warrior, dude. And if this is there's rumors going around that this might be Volkanovski's last fight. If this is his last fight, what a way to go out. The other fight I'm definitely interested in is Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis. That's a good fight. The Hangman is if there was somebody who I had to pick to be like the BMF champion right now, it would be Dan Hooker because that dude is a fucking monster, dude. Same with Benoit Saint Denis. I expect fireworks for that fight. Fazee versus Rufy, that's gonna be a good one too. Like Rufy is a knockout artist, dude. Like he's a knockout artist. Same. Fazeeb's one of those guys that's like he's a real good fighter. I think he's also like a I don't want to say he's a knockout artist, but I mean he's like one of those guys that will take you to the distance. I think. Tuivasa versus Teixeira, that'll be a good one too. This whole main card is gonna be good, dude. I think this whole card will be like one we'll be talking about for a while.
Yeah, dude, 7 days after we get a fucking solid UFC 324, 325 looks to come out of the gate swinging. This is good stuff, man. I can't believe the momentum that UFC has right now. It is nuts. I'm definitely excited for the main event, of course, Volk versus Lopez. That's going to be fantastic. That's going to be crazy. The first fight was through the roof, right? And then, of course, Hooker versus Benoit is going to be great as well. Is going to be a high caliber lightweight match. Another name to throw in the hat, sprinkling around Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett, and Ilya Tuporia if and when he comes back. Just good stuff here from UFC. This is a way to start off 2026 right. And if that's not enough fighting for you, Sunday, February 1st, 24 hours after UFC 325, a mere 9 days after the inaugural Zuffa boxing event, we get Zuffa Boxing 2. Let's run down this 3-match card here, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts. We have, again, please excuse me with the names, we have a light heavyweight bout between Radivoje Kalajic versus Alexander Gavojic. Okay, this is our first main card taste of light heavyweight boxing for Zuffa. All right, and then we get another middleweight showcase. Looks like the middleweight division of Zuffa boxing is going to be prominent. I mean, that makes sense. Middleweight boxing is arguably peak boxing right now, and it has been for a minute. Anywho, the second match of this main card for Zuffa Boxing 2 is Seri Bohachuk versus Radza Butev. Right, that's going to be another middleweight bout. We'll see who comes out on top and who makes a name for themselves in the Zuffa middleweight division. And our main event, our first taste of lightweight boxing in Zuffa, Jose Valenzuela versus Diego Torres. Okay. This is going to be, I mean, shit. I feel like if we grow from Zuffa 1 and Zuffa 2 has a little bit more of a close fight in there, then that's considered growth. And I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm excited to see who makes a name for themselves. It's really nice starting on the ground with Zuffa boxing and just being like, all right, it's not like I'm going in to see a Terrence Crawford. It's not like I'm going in to see a Canelo. It's not like I'm going in to see Tank Davis. I just know I'm going in there to see boxing, and Zuffa Boxing is going to be there for us. We're not going to have to pay an absurd amount to keep up with something that's ultimately inconsistent. It seems like we are going to be slow and steady with Zuffa Boxing, and I'm okay with that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Real quick, well, before I get into that, I wanted to just clarify on a mistake I made. So I remember I said that Volkanovski is retiring. Well, he is not retiring after UFC 325. So that's an error on my part. Just want to apologize for that. But going back to the Zuffa, dude, like this is another solid card, dude. Like I think this is definitely growth. Like you said, like we're not gonna pay to see like a Terrence Crawford. We're not paying to see Canelo, Tank Davis, or even Gennady, Golovkin. Like we're paying to see like these guys duke it out, man. Like these guys that are on the chopping block, like these guys that could be the future of boxing. Like, and I think the fight that's gonna really I think the fight that's gonna be really good is definitely Torres versus Valenzuela. That's gonna be a barn burner, dude. I think so. The rest of the fights are the rest of the main card is gonna look pretty good. I mean, you got Rashab coming in at 10-1 against the guy against I'm gonna try not to butcher this name. Uh, Buhachuk, 26, 26-3 from the Ukraine. Like this is gonna be a really good. I feel like this fight will be a chess match, man. This fight will be a chess match between two good fighters, and I think this whole card will be really special, man. I think we're on the cusp of something great here. It's gonna, like you said, like we've been saying this whole episode, it's gonna take time for them to grow, but I think once we get up to this level, I think we have something special on our hands.
Yeah, man. And it's going to take time. How much time? We don't know. But I'm okay with the approach that Zuffa Boxing is taking. And I really do hope that they keep their main cards at 3 fights. Okay. Like, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes you got 5 fights on the main card for UFC, and all of them go the distance, and I'm falling asleep on the homie's couch. Okay. Call me a bitch for that. I really don't care. Um, I like the 3 fight formula. It's just enough for me as a fan of boxing. And to your point, yeah, we're not invested for the stars. We're invested because we trust Dana White to do the best of his ability in terms of putting together the best fights that he can. Not superstar fights, but guys that are going to get out there and show us what the sport of boxing is all about. And I do think that was present in Zuffa 1, just not present in the spectacle way that a lot of people probably expected, maybe even myself a little bit, right? We did see strategic boxing. We did see dominance in the case of Misael and Callum Walsh, right? Lionheart spirit. We saw very good things out of the first 3 fights of Zuffa 1, of Zuffa boxing in general. And I'll be very excited to see how they follow this up. And I'm very curious as to what our conversation will be on the next episode. The next episode, let's talk about that before we get on out of here.
All right, let's do it.
The next episode will consist of our analysis of not only Zuffa Boxing 2, but UFC 325 as well. And I do want to wait until the card is announced for UFC 326 and the card of Zuffa Boxing 3 is announced. So when we have those 2 cards, we will get on and do our episode number 2 of the Lights Out podcast.
Yeah, so far the only fights that have been announced on UFC 326 were Holloway versus Oliveira for the BMF title, which we knew going in. Moicano versus Brian Ortega, Dorita versus Cal Bohalio, and I think Garbrandt versus Zhao, I think is his name. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. There's a couple fights that are on here. I'm not going to go through every single one because there's quite a few. But I mean, there's still some fights that are coming up, man. I mean, there's a lot of good fights this whole month, and then leading up to 325 and 326, man. I just got a thing for Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. That's gonna be a good fight. Like we're honestly doing pretty good as MMA fans, man. Like we're doing pretty good, and same with Zuffa Boxing, man. I think we're actually doing pretty well. Like this is a fun time to be a combat sports fan.
Yeah, man, UFC is doing its thing, starting off 2026 hotter than ever, and Zuffa Boxing is slowly building, and there for us who enjoy boxing and want to see Zuffa Boxing do its thing. I'm very excited, man. This has been the very first episode of the Lights Out podcast. We're very excited to bring coverage of UFC and Zuffa Boxing to you. This is ultimately a expansion for me personally. I've been talking wrestling for years, and now we have a show exclusive for my MMA and my boxing fans. This is a perfect platform for Ant, who is going to shine and grow with the furthering and the continuation of this series, the Lights Out podcast. I'm so happy to be doing this with you, man, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to watching more combat sports, as I'm sure you are too. Go ahead and sign us out, man.
All right, man. Yeah, I really do appreciate it, man. I appreciate the love, the support, man. This is gonna be a hell of a journey, man. So let's keep it going. All right, guys. I'm gonna sign us out. Big dogs for life, man. Big dogs live forever. I'm Heal Synergy, aka Ant. aka boxing is bullshit, aka whatever. And I'm out of here, guys.
You got to do the
Boom!
thing.
Woo!
Do the thing.
Oh shit!
I fucked it up. I'm so sorry. I'll let you go again.
All right, that's all right, bro. All right,
No, do it again. Do it again.
all right. Boom! Woo! Let's go, baby.
All right. I'll see you guys next time.
Take care. Peace.